Hi, Rob. Okay, so it looks like I have 11 people watching. So guys, happy Sunday from Moscow, Idaho. It basically took me 12 hours to get here between 2 flights and then an hour and 40-minute drive or so. You're getting a weekend, sorry, I'm not used to this car. You're getting a weekend version of Anjanette Levy with no makeup on. And out to put my phone in. I've got this, I should have already had this loaded up actually, to be honest with you. It's my little phone holder thing. So here I am. I just arrived at the King Road house a short time ago. A lot's changed since the last time I was here. Obviously it was January the last time I was in Moscow. And it was very cold. It was there was still snow on the ground. This was still very fresh for people. The arrest of Bryan Kohberger had just been made. I think it's really important, just given, you know, some of the things that have happened with some of the reporting around this case, that we make it clear that Bryan Kohberger is indeed innocent until proven guilty, and he has said he hopes to be exonerated. That's what his attorney in Pennsylvania, Jason Labar, told me. He's the Monroe County prosecutor, and that was back in January that he told me that. So this is now my third trip to Moscow, Idaho. And guys, I'm going to show you what the house looks like. A lot's changed since we were last here. The windows are boarded up. You can't see inside. That's in part because the university now owns the house. Oh, orientation is locked, so we're going to have to turn the phone another way. So I'm just getting my little thingamabob here. Sorry, I used to do Facebook Lives all the time when I worked in local news, and I don't know why I ever got out of the habit of doing them. I should never have stopped doing them. I loved doing them because I could just talk to you guys directly. So I used to do Facebook Lives all the time, and I was always encouraged to do that. So I thought, oh, let's try YouTube Live, because it seems like everybody loves YouTube. So here I am. I'm going to turn the phone. Just got out of my trusty rental car. Just kind of want to orient you a little bit to King Road here. You've probably seen drone video and stuff on the internet, on television. Here's the apartment building. It has a Queen Road address. For whatever reason, the house where the murders happened, where Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were staying that night, where Maddie and Xana were basically living, has a King Road address, even though they're kind of on the same street. It's kind of confusing. But, you know, the last time I was here, there was snow all over the ground. There was a lot of media here. I mean, you couldn't pull up this street without media showing up. So this house will be demolished at some point in time. The University of Idaho basically now owns this house. They've halted that process for a little while. I know there were a lot of concerns, and I was even kind of shocked that they were going to demolish this house, given the fact that it's a crime scene. Who knows if this case indeed goes to trial? They may want the jury to walk through this home. They may want them to walk up and around other parts of the home for a jury view. You just don't know. So I was stunned when they said they were going to tear this house down, because it's evidence, essentially. It's a crime scene, whether it's been processed or not. So no snow on the ground, no parking. Last time I was here, there was, you know, people fighting for parking spaces everywhere. I think some of the residents were annoyed. That happens when a high-profile case happens and people are hanging around. But here you go. Here is the King Road house now. The windows are boarded up, as you can see. I mean, you can't get a peek inside there. I mean, who would want to anyway? But you can see, too, there's like a little guard shack here. This blue Hell's Canyon security. Somebody is guarding this 24 hours a day. When I was last here, it was obviously, it was usually like a security company's vehicle was parked here with security people. I want to show you some of what I'm finding over here. There's kind of like a memorial of sorts right here. There are flowers. You can see somebody's left flowers here. There's a handwritten note. I don't want to touch this stuff, but here's this handwritten note. Xana, I hope you know how many hearts you have touched. When I started working at PVE, you were in my 5th grade reading group. I just loved your little smile. Then I got to watch you in high school around my daughters. I loved you quite personally. It's hard to see that, and I don't want to like touch it and move it. Here are some other flowers. Sweet Xana girl with a note. This candle with Jesus on it was actually here the last time I was here. As was this. This was here the last time I was here too. If you guys can see the photograph, it says, "Gone too soon, rest in peace, from one set of U of I parents to all those impacted by this incomprehensible tragedy. You have been and will continue to be in our constant prayers." Some 4 pennies, 4 kind of battery operated candles, some teddy bears, another 4 pennies, a rock, the New Testament. We have some flowers, and class of 2023. For those of you who don't know, some posthumous diplomas were awarded to some of the students at graduation for U of I, because to honor the memory and the lives of the kids who were killed. And I call them kids because they're kids. I mean, they were just kids starting out their lives. More of the candles. So there you have it. I kind of want to walk up around the back to show you when I was here the first time, and I'm going to see if anybody else is commenting. I mean, if you guys have comments or questions, let me know. One of the things that really struck me when I was here the first time, and I don't know if I posted this video, but here I took a video of the back of the house when I first came here in December. It was early December. So here's King Road, right? You can drive right up King Road, and then here is the driveway. This driveway is not for the King Road house. This driveway goes up to the parking lot for the apartment complex next door, 500 Queen Road. And one thing that really struck me, and it's something I kind of think is probable, based on how these events they believe unfolded. So here's the parking lot. And you may have seen this other places, but I'll just show you. This is what struck me. Keep in mind, when I was here in January and December, it was wintertime, right? No leaves on some of the trees. So a lot of this was not here, like this bushy thing. It was not. I could probably get the video and show it to you. But the thing that struck me was that window right there, that was Maddie's bedroom, the one closest to the driveway. So when I was here in January and November, I thought to myself, gosh, anybody could drive up here if they wanted to. And keep in mind, that tree, this was a little different in November and January. It's spring now. It's 6 months later, December and January. You could get a bird's eye view into Maddie's room, okay? So there was, when I was here before, there was a pink pair of cowboy boots in the window. There was also a pink M. So basically, you knew that was Maddie's bedroom. So according to the probable cause affidavit, one of the surviving roommates heard some noise upstairs above her, and she thought it was the dog. She thought it was Kaylee playing with the dog. Kaylee really wasn't living here at the time. She had come back for the weekend. She had already kind of moved out because she was preparing to graduate. So that was Maddie's room. Kaylee's was around the deck a little more. So I can post a video showing you what it looked like in the wintertime here. So there's this sound, right, of like she thinks it's a dog, Kaylee playing with her dog. It's 4 o'clock, a little later in the morning. Obviously, whoever killed these girls, Maddie and Kaylee, went to Maddie's room first. So it kind of makes me think or wonder, was Maddie somehow, and I don't know this, but was she the target? Was she the person, the intended target here? I don't know that, but it's just what I've kind of I think, based on what we know, which in the grand scheme of things, we only know a little bit. So Maddie's there. Kaylee's sleeping in the bed with her because she's, moved out, but she's here, to see her friends, to show off her new car, go to this party or what have you. They go to the grub truck, they come home with the Uber driver, and they're sleeping in this bed together. They had placed several calls to Kaylee's then ex-boyfriend. They were kind of on again, off again, or whatever. So the killer goes up to Maddie's room first, then goes down the stairs, from what we know from the probable cause affidavit, maybe not knowing that Xana was there on her TikTok account or eating her DoorDash delivery. Ethan's there. He would have typically been over at the Sigma Chi house, and other things ensue. I'm not saying, it's an explanation maybe about what happened. I don't know, but it's just all very strange to me that you could totally stake out this property from this parking lot up here. You can get a view of what's going on in this house. And I'm telling you, I'm surprised at how much foliage is here now, because it was so bare and you could see very clearly through all of this the last time I was here. So, it just makes me wonder if the killer was fixated on Maddie and Kaylee just happened to be here. I don't know this. It's just my thought. And then obviously you could be parked up here and you could see, without the foliage there. So it seems much different now that I'm here. Different in the springtime, I guess, is what I should say, with, the flowers growing. There's trees, blooming for the spring and summer. It's just it's a parent's worst nightmare. You send your kids off to college and something like this happens. I mean, it's so sad to me too. The trash down there, their trash is still down there, probably from one of their parties. And the couch, at least, the string lights down there on the, hanging over the deck, those were on constantly, like 24/7 the last time I was here. But, the leather couch is still there, sitting there. Their trash, as I mentioned, the grill, some charcoal. But yeah, it's quite scary, I know my mom lived in New York when she was in her early 20s, and she's always very, she had a peeping Tom one time. She has the weirdest stories from living in New York. It was, late 60s, and she's always been very adamant about having blinds closed and things like that. And I like having the blinds open and stuff, but I do close them at times. So Eagle asks, does it feel eerie being here? This is obviously third trip here, but probably my like 15th time actually coming to this property. So I don't know if I would say it feels eerie. I don't know if eerie's the word. It's just sad to me. It's just sad because you look at the fencing and all of this. There's fencing everywhere. You know, this house was obviously a party house, a place where kids gathered, and now it's going to be demolished, and 4 young people are gone, so for no reason at all. Looks like somebody just came and turned around. I hope they didn't see me and take off. It's just, I'm like the only media person here right now. So yeah, this is what it looks like out here. I'm probably going to go run by the courthouse. I'm also going to, Rob, I don't think they're tearing it down immediately. I think that'll wait a little while. So I think those plans have been put on hold because I think it would be really irresponsible to demolish it right away with a trial coming up. Oh, here's an SUV coming up the road street. It might be a media person. But yeah, it's just different being here with no snow on the ground and the way things have changed. With it being spring now. When do you start coverage tomorrow? Rob asks. Well, the arraignment hearing, it's one of 3 events taking place related to this case in the morning. That's at 9 a.m. Actually, the people that just pulled up in this SUV are taking pictures. So I don't know why they are. I don't know, but they're taking pictures. So the arraignment where Bryan Kohberger will enter a plea, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to enter a not guilty plea. I mean, it would be irresponsible for his attorneys to allow him to do anything but enter a not guilty plea. That'll be at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And we're not getting the video live. We will turn it around as soon as we get it. But the court here, and it may just be an Idaho thing, the order has said no live streaming. So we can't stream it live, but we'll get it and then turn it around and show it to you. So our coverage will begin probably right at noon Eastern. And then I'm going to be here in the morning. Maybe I'll do another live YouTube thing or a live Periscope. I haven't decided yet. After that, at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern, there's a scheduling conference for the gag order that media outlets, including Law and Crime, and also Kaylee Gonsalves's family's attorney, they're fighting the gag order, as are a coalition of the media. And we think it's a little too restrictive. You know, I've said this before, that I've covered cases where the defense and the prosecution were able to come to some sort of an agreement about, don't hold press conferences, interviews, etc. But we were still able to ask clarifying questions of the prosecutor. Now, sometimes they wouldn't answer the questions, or the defense, but we were at least still able to do that, and they were able to talk to us, whether it was about a legal filing or something like that. They could say, okay, yeah, we filed this. You could say, hey, I have a question about this motion you filed. And they were allowed to talk to us. There was no barring the attorneys from explaining something in a motion or clarifying something. And this is just so overly restrictive. It's so kind of ridiculous. That's why we're suing over it. Because you should be able to go to a defense attorney or a prosecutor, or you should be able to request a public record and have it released. Not an investigative record, but a public record. And we've been denied that in this case, and it's not right. So there are ways that this can be handled where it's just not a total blackout, because then you get all this erroneous reporting about stuff, and I think people start listening to sources maybe that they shouldn't. I saw something on Dateline the other night. Keith Morrison reporting, there was a story in People magazine several months back quoting an investigator or an investigative source as saying that Kohberger had slid into the DMs of the girls on Instagram and tried to contact them. Keith Morrison said that their source says that's not true. I completely believe Keith Morrison, because when I read that story in People, I literally thought to myself, this is so made up. This does not sound like an investigative source saying he was sliding into their DMs. Cops don't talk that way. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. I've been covering these cases for years. Cops don't talk like that. So, just seems a little silly. I have not eaten at the Mad Greek, but I've been there. I was there the last time I was in town. I didn't eat there, but I was there. So we're not going to really learn a whole lot tomorrow. Now let me move on to the 11 a.m. Pacific time hearing. That will be a hearing on the defense motion to compel. They have asked the court to order the prosecution to turn over evidence that they believe could be exculpatory regarding their client, Bryan Kohberger, and the DNA evidence. We don't know what they're referring to, and the state wants to know what they're referring to as well. The state contends, look, we've handed over a bunch of discovery, 51 terabytes of video, which is a massive amount of video, 9,200 tips, something like that. They're saying, what is it that you think you need or want? Because we've turned over all of this stuff. I'm sure there's a boatload more of discovery to come that the state will turn over, but the DNA evidence obviously is going to be a really important part, of this case, because, the state contends it's Kohberger's DNA on the knife sheath left next to Maddie's body in the room, and that it obviously had his DNA on it. They're going to probably vigorously challenge that with their own experts. And there was also all this reporting that there was genetic genealogy used in this case. We've heard that from people, but we've not been able to confirm it, like a hard confirmation on that. So we'll see. That may be part of this. Apparently that stuff is generally not used in court. So, yeah, so here I am. I think another media outlet just pulled up. Judge J. Law has his channel set to go for 11 a.m. So Stephanie, basically, if you're talking about Judge, which the judge's name is Judge and his last name is Judge, so the Honorable whatever Judge, so Judge, it's my understanding he has the Zoom for the family members and stuff, but he said that can't be live streamed. So I would be very careful about that. I don't know anything about that other than what his order said. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to give you one more look at this before I have to run and go do some work and stuff like that and buzz by the courthouse. And again, sorry, it's a no makeup Sunday. I've been up since, before the crack of dawn traveling. But hey, it is what it is. It's real, right? Right. The motion hearing is at 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern time, and that's on the defense motion to compel. So I'll give you one final look at the house here on King Road. Right, let's start over at there's the apartment building. There's the house, and then this house over here is one that I believe they captured that piece of video where it had audio. It sounded like a thud and a scream. If you remember that from the probable cause affidavit, I think it came from this house right here, the gray one. So guys, I'll try to pop on here. It's actually, Rob, it's a beautiful day, actually. I was shocked when I got off the plane after being here in the winter, and it was so cold, and it was freezing and snowy, and now I get off the plane and it's absolutely beautiful, and it was a beautiful drive. I mean, it really is beautiful here. Yes, all 3 of the hearings will be on video, but there's no live streaming allowed. So guys, if I have time tomorrow, I'll hop back on here before court starts from the courthouse. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat and I'll look through later and try to answer them. But I thought I would just hop on here and give you a look at what it looks like now and what we can expect tomorrow. So 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, arraignment. He'll plead not guilty. They may set some further court dates. Expect pretrial motions and things like that to come after that. 10 Pacific is the scheduling conference for the gag order fight. And then 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern is the motion to compel by the defense. So we'll see if they speed these up a little bit too, given the fact that it's all going to be in the same courtroom. Who knows? We'll see. But I'll see you then. I'll be there. Tune into Law and Crime on our YouTube channel. We will be doing all kinds of coverage. We'll be doing the Q&A tomorrow, so I'll be here for that. Submit your questions even tonight, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. So I'll talk to you soon. See you guys. Oh, and sorry, I was like really out of breath from hiking up that hill. I probably need to do some more running or something, so it was a little winded. Sorry. All right, I'm grabbing dinner. See y'all later.